coming straight at you for episode 2 of the Just Okay Gamers movie podcast beta edition, sponsored via Patreon by yours truly, BIGGIESIZE. Joining me as always is the Just Okay Gamers crew. We have
Guido,
Wally,
Millpool,
and Nasty.
Gentlemen, how the hell are you?
Oh, I'm good.
Swearing off the bat. I like it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, we have a lot to talk about today, and I know we're all very excited to talk about this movie. You know, it's been a pretty popular movie, you know, from a very long-running series of films that, you know, they're you know, pretty big. People know about them. You know, it's called what was it called? It's called Star Wars. Yes.
The War of Stars.
That's right. We're talking Star Wars Rogue One, a Star Wars story. And we've all seen it. You know, we interested to hear what everyone's opinion is of it. I know a couple of people have asked on the...
I fucking hated it!
Oh, well,
That's what I want to hear. All right. We're going to trash this fucker. No, if you go around the internet, there's been quite a bit of... I guess, I don't know if I call it controversy, but...
Really?
Well, okay, for instance, you know, I love following Red Letter Media. You know, they're definitely been really hard on Star Wars.
Based in Milwaukee.
Yeah, they are actually, yeah. You're right.
That's amazing.
It certainly is. But they released a video that was really interesting, pointing out a lot of the what they felt like were the flaws of Star Wars. And apparently, they got a lot of feedback on it. But personally, I felt they were very valid. But I guess before we jump into it, let's just go ahead and give a synopsis of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Millpool, would you mind giving just a brief synopsis?
Yeah, I'd love to. So Rogue One is about a team of people.
Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, they are Ninja Turtles. They are teenaged and they mutated
Some
from
fairly legal
turtles.
turtles.
And they drive Nissan Rogue, and they go around the country saving children.
Yeah, I really like the part where Donatello comes out of his Nissan Rogue, and he's like, this is the number one Rogue.
Uh-huh.
And then Raphael
Then he winks
just
at
starts...
the camera for 30 seconds.
Yeah. And then Raphael just like bends over and shows his anus hole for about 13 minutes.
18 minutes. It's just silence in it.
Right. And the camera's not on a tripod. It's handheld, so it's like there's a slight sway to it.
Yeah.
It's got that real personable feel. I like that part about it.
Yeah. That Raph, he's one rude dude.
Crude, even.
Crude, you might say.
Okay, so I'll try to give
okay,
the real.
Wally?
I'll try to give the real synopsis here.
That was the real synopsis.
Well, I want to see if I can actually remember the movie, because it's been a while since I've seen it.
It's been a while.
So there's a girl named Jin, and
Wait, like Jin, like League?
Kind of like League, except she's not really crazy, and she wears more clothing, and her name is spelled differently. So there's this girl, and she gets rescued by some guy in the beginning of some significance, and then she grows up, and she eventually joins the rebel forces she's not really sure if she wants to join. I forget why she joins. Her dad was kidnapped by the Imperial Army to make the Death Star, and I think he sends a message to her somehow. I forget that part. So she joins the Rebel Army to get the plans for the Death Star, which he has cooked up a little surprise for the Imperial Army. by means of I guess a flaw in the Death Star, like
Yeah.
one really simple trick that can destroy the Death Star. And he's like, hey, instead of just telling you the thing, why don't you break into this thing and steal the plans? Okay, bye. I'm your dad.
You won't believe this one amazing flaw in the Death Star.
I know. What is it? Tell me.
click to continue.
I mean, the rebellion were originally using her to kill her father,
Right.
but it snowballed into that. And
Right.
he like died in his arm. She like, died in her arms too.
Right.
Like peace out, and then
Yeah, it was. Okay, personally, that scene right there, like that whole chunk, I was like, we could really have done without that. That was like 30 minutes that wasn't really necessary.
it was
I mean,
emotional gratuity, really.
It
Right.
was, I guess, needed for her to be like, okay, I'm in. But
Well, she has nothing left to live for.
Oh,
Right.
you
Well, that's a
don't
good
say.
point. Well, I think that hits the nail on the head there. And the biggest problem with the film is character development.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there was just no character development. We had a little bit at the beginning, and it was done fairly well. Well, once we start beginning, what do you guys think about the long time ago, galaxy far, far away?
Yeah,
They
the
cut straight
not
to it.
Star Wars.
Right.
Oh, by the
Like,
way, the
what the
guy that
fuck?
does those, he was pissed as fuck.
Yeah,
Like
I
the guy
don't
who
care.
invented the. I actually felt nostalgic in the fact that it was gone, but I don't think I was angry about it.
I just
Yeah,
do you
they-
really think that it's one of the Star Wars movies though? Like it that's what my question kind of came into play.
Well, maybe that's the point, you know? It's some kind of like a Star Wars story spin-off, like not part of the chain kind of a thing.
See, I didn't realize what it was. I thought it was like Star Wars 8 going into it. I thought it was like, okay, let's continue the story of A New Hope.
Right.
I can't wait.
Right. Well,
And then disappointment.
Well, it was. I think it's just how the scene fell. You have that dead silence, and you're seeing that show up just like normal. But then all of a sudden, you go straight to like a really like low pitch of like music, and you see the ship flying out. It just kind of fell flat. Like,
Yeah.
did you guys see Star Trek 2009?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, we talked about it last time. I love that opening. Like where it has a slow build up of music and you're seeing all the logos and crap, and then all of a sudden it hits that peak and then just drops, and you see the close up of the Kelvin on the side, hearing the ship noise and everything. It was just like, oh my god, it was like a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that's something that Rogue One should have done if they were going to get rid of doing the normal title.
Well, it's
crawl.
about tone, though. I actually appreciate the more deliberate, somber, murkier tone than
Really?
the in your face. Yeah, because I like war movies, and this is a war movie.
But okay,
This is Saving Private
the
Ryan
last
Star
half,
Wars.
The last half was a war movie. Like the first half was just like complaining
Well,
about like,
yeah.
oh, what are we gonna do? Like,
Well, that's because they failed at it.
Yeah,
I mean, it was more
yeah.
because they were terrible at it than it was not being what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind not having the crawl. It just felt, okay, here we go.
Right. I agree. I think there's nothing wrong with not having the crawl. I guess personally, I just felt like they could have done it a little better than just it kind of, to me, felt like it kind of fell flat. But, I guess that's just more opinion than anything. It doesn't ruin the movie by any means at all. Other
Yeah,
than just it
everything
being
else
different.
ruins the movie.
Exactly. Jumping into the beginning. The beginning part is the only time we really get any true development. And even that's probably stretching it if you consider what happens to the rest of the movie. We get the bad guy. It's shot very well. I thought that whole beginning part was shot really clean.
Yeah.
Set a really nice mood.
Very pretty.
Oh, very pretty. And having these two guys who know each other, who, you wouldn't really assume going into it that this guy who's living this hut thing is actually really intelligent and worth a lot to the Empire.
right?
And you get that cool tension that something happened between them.
Mhm.
And it's great. It's wonderful. Why wasn't there more of that?
You're right. They started it off really well, and then they didn't develop that storyline
Agreed.
at all any further. It was just like, 16 years later, and
Yeah,
then
there-
you find out that it was like, what was
Yeah.
what?
Doesn't
Right.
it like jump cut to like
It
Jin
totally-
escaping some sort of thing that's not
Yeah.
explained?
Absolutely
And then-
jump cuts to that.
And then then it was like later on, it was like, oh well, you were in the army, like the commander talking to Jin, and it was like, you were in the army and you were like one of my favorite, but don't you see, I had to be mad at you and like send you in a hole and let you sit there forever.
That's right.
Like what?
You were
what?
totally right.
Where is that whole like storyline? And you tried to fill it in like 4 or 5 lines, and I feel like that would have been way better character development, even if you would have like cutscene it like they've done in previous X-Men.
The
Like,
setup was super blunt. It was super
Extremely. No, that's
Instead
a
of saying 16 years later, it should have just said in big white font, "This is why Jin is angry."
They didn't even say 16 years later. It's
or
just
whatever.
like she woke up and
Well,
it
the
was
implication, I mean, like they should have had something like that
right
up there.
I don't even remember that part. Where was she?
I don't blame you. It was boring
She's
as hell.
in the back of a Imperial transport.
She's in the back of a Yugo.
What?
Like, yeah, she got picked up by somebody.
Soviets.
And then they were like, "Congratulations, you're being rescued," from the robot dude.
What I hate
I
are first.
barely remember that.
I don't blame you. I barely remember it. I wouldn't remember unless I wrote it down. Like, the part that made me so mad was, we get that opening scene. She goes into the bunker thing, and he opens it up and gets her out, whatever. The next scene we see her is in some, Imperial cell. And the only way we know that is a stormtrooper walks by, and she's in it. Then we don't see her for another 3 or 4 scenes until, you're right, she's in the back of a transport. What? I mean, this is our main character, and we've already spent, I would say going on 30 minutes until we see her again, and we see a whole bunch of stuff that's so... the way it was edited, man, it's so convoluted when it was so simple. Guys defecting from the Empire wanted to tell him about a weapon, and he was sent from her dad, and that was basically the point, and then she comes into it. It's just... There's no reason to really care.
We can all agree that Jin, as a character, was an unlikable person, right?
Right.
Just like you didn't care about her.
Right.
Not really.
Yeah.
Not in that way, no.
I thought the actress also did a poor job. Partly because of the writing, because there was none.
Right.
But also, she just was like, she didn't do a good job. Maybe she wasn't given any chances to wow me, but
Right.
at the same, she just had like a sour puss the whole
I don't know,
fucking
man.
thing.
Her delivery was tone deaf. Pretty much.
And I couldn't tell when she was upset, when she was happy, when she was relieved. It was just like continually the same exact face. Like you said, it was the same face and the same reactions to everything that was going on.
She was an edgelord for most of the film.
Right. No, I can't blame her a whole lot because I'm sure the writing had a lot to do with it. Her just not having those moments to really shine. I do agree as well. I mean, her acting, at least in the part she had, wasn't enough to really spark any interest in me other than this is our vessel for the plot. We're going to have to follow her to the end. And that's the part that's so painful about this film is, the CG looked excellent. The sets were very simplistic and real, and they felt really lived in through the parts we saw, like was it Jardu City and the Rebel Base, and all those look great.
But Star Wars always did not the prequels, but always did a good job with that, though.
Exactly. And the one part they fail the most in, the part that matters, is actually having people we give a shit about.
Yeah.
And it just ruins that atmosphere when you're following a bunch of people you don't really know who they are or really what they're trying to do other than just doing the plot.
It's a story built from the start to show the characters and make you like them because they all die.
Yeah,
right.
That was the other thing. Is like, why did I even want to have any investment after I started seeing everybody die off?
Right.
It was like, I know where this is going, and we aren't even that far into the movie.
I think a lot of people went into it knowing that they were going to die.
Right.
It was more just like, this is the story of how they died. But if you don't care about the people who are going to die, then what's the point? Like the whole movie, in my opinion, it didn't need to be made.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was built to fit into the end of 4.
Right.
I mean, in a way, I was also told that it helped fill a gap somewhere or a plot inconsistency.
Gap.
No, there's an article that says something about how it actually helped fit a plot inconsistency.
Hmm.
In the intro to the original Star Wars, They do talk about stealing the plans to the Death Star. So apparently the whole movie is based off of like 1 or 2 sentences.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
That
Right.
scroll.
And those sentences are sufficient enough to give
Right.
backstory.
Right.
Right.
Like we didn't need a whole movie based on 2 sentences to
Right.
try and fill that void that somebody might have thought was there.
I didn't think the movie was bad. Like I had a good time watching it. Like I said, my expectations were different going in because I didn't follow what Rogue One was or anything going into it. I just knew it was the next Star Wars movie, and that's all I knew. So I was disappointed in that it wasn't a continuation of last year's Star Wars.
Sure.
Yeah.
But after, Disney buying Star Wars and after learning that they said they're going to do all these offshoots every year or however often they're going to do it, like it makes sense to me that they did do this, and that even if it's just a throwaway thing, like I understand what they were going for with these like short stories that just fill the time in between the main story.
Sure.
I just feel like they have so many other stories that they could be telling besides a throwaway story.
Yeah, go fucking 2,000 years in the past.
Right.
Tell that story.
Oh my God!
Like,
Yes, Knights of the Old
leads
Republic.
to
Oh, yeah.
all of this, like let's have some story development on that. Or how about like, and I know that they kind of have plans for this, but like, where did like some of the people go between? There's a lot of time in between like the last original movie and not this recent one, but the one that came out before that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be covered in the future, at least. And then maybe they'll go back and do a one shot of between 6 and 7, but
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, they probably didn't want to get too far away from the original story, like too far into the extended universe, with their first shot at this Star Wars story format. A lot of this movie was like, just. It was a lot of the original
Stupid.
Star Wars in this movie. It was a lot of pandering to like, hey, remember the original Star Wars? Remember all these things from the original movie?
Absolutely.
They're in this movie too. Remember Darth Vader?
Well, I mean,
Here he is.
They
doing
made the
some cool
extras
stuff for
even have 70s
30
haircuts.
seconds.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really going for it.
Yeah, that was one thing. Okay, if I got to take one positive away, that would be it. They did a really good job of like maintaining that time frame
Oh, yeah.
with new
agreed.
technology.
Agreed. Yeah, sets and everything, costume design, all of it was really well done. And it just kind of hurts more thinking they spent all that time getting that stuff right and just could not bring more life into the script or into the characters themselves. Because obviously they did really take that to heart, making everything look the way it should.
yeah. I mean, it's bad news when the most likable and most invested you get in a character is an actual robot.
Right.
I
Done
don't
by the
know.
guy from Firefly. I forget his name.
Oh yeah, Alan Tudyk.
That's
however,
right.
However you say his last name.
That's right.
I mean, I thought the supporting characters were good. Like the monk and his friend were probably my favorite characters.
Donnie Yen did a good job.
Yeah, I was really happy to see him in that movie.
Yeah, I disagree. They're so one note, and you give the most badass character like one fight scene with his bow staff, and
He uses that other
even
gun.
even during the big battle, you don't give him anything.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's
Like,
all that he had.
he goes out and dies to whatever, a grenade or something.
Yeah, they were just fodder at that point.
It was a wasted character.
Well, it was a wasted character for sure.
And that's how I felt with a lot of them.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Minus the pilot, who was inconsequential character.
Yeah, who was brought in like later without knowing anything, and somehow magically got his like memory back.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my
He's
God,
in a
you're
cell.
right.
Oh,
I didn't even think
gosh,
about
what
that.
is happening?
Force Link was like,
Pilot, are you the pilot?
the one side effect of this monster is you lose your mind. And then like the next scene, he's like, oh yeah, I'm that pilot. I'm coming with you.
Just by somebody saying pilot in his ear. There was a lot of interesting parts to the movie that
You know what? Fuck Star Wars.
That's what I'm saying. Fuck it.
No, look,
No,
I think if you take like this movie, if you take away the Star Wars, if you take the Star Wars out of it, it's not a great movie. It's not a great war movie. Like, imagine they have to go get plans to the atom bomb so that they can, stop the creation of the atom bomb.
Right.
This would be a very average, below average war movie.
Yes. Right. Very.
It's like a shitty Dirty Dozen. This is exactly what this is.
Right. Right. And that's the thing. People are saying you go in with such high expectations because it's Star Wars, and it fails on the most basic levels, and mainly being the characters. You just have to get the characters right, or else you don't care about the story. And and that's what gets me is this is Disney. They have the money. They can get anyone they want in this movie. They could do whatever.
Not only that, they know character development. Like, this isn't their first go at it.
No. Even though personally I had problems with Force Awakens, I feel like there's a big divide between the character development and Force Awakens in this movie.
Oh, huge.
Yeah, it's insurmountable. I mean, we really got to know Finn and the pilot guy and Rey and all of them, and it wasn't over the top. It was very simple. We didn't spend a humongous arc with these characters, but it was enough to really make us feel for them. Especially Finn. I love Finn. I just think he was such a refreshing Star Wars character. We had nothing here.
Yeah, there was literally nothing that you just said in this past movie. And then we have the gall to have her stand up with all those people and give the saddest Deftone speech.
Right.
And somehow
we have to have hope.
We have to have hope. I'm like, why? I have hope. I actually don't have hope anymore in this movie.
I wish a rebel in the back with a southern accent just stood up and said, "I have hope."
Okay, quick question. During this movie, at what point did you guys get up and take a piss? If you did.
I pissed myself.
I didn't.
Okay.
But I did fall asleep.
Oh, I know when I did. I know the exact moment. It was right after they escaped from the city that blew up.
Okay.
And I think that Jin was trying to explain that she had found a holodisk with the plans for the Death Star or whatever, that there were plans for the security flaw.
And everybody was like, I had something. Yeah, okay.
Why should we believe her?
Yeah, that's exactly when I left. And then I came back and they were just landing flying through the terrain.
Oh, did you miss the Rogue One part? It was so cliche and terrible. Oh, okay,
no. I saw the Rogue One. What should we name ourselves?
Who's taking off? Rogue?
Let's see. Outlaw 5. No. How about people that do their own thing without anyone giving the go-ahead? 2. No, that's a little too long. Rogue One. Title scroll.
Nah.
Title flashes across the screen. Movie ends. Credits roll.
Stay tuned for part 2 next year.
Right?
Man.
I wasn't expecting this, honestly, going into this podcast. I thought, I had an okay time with that movie. I didn't expect all you guys to dislike it so much, though.
Really?
I'm kind of, I've read the mixed reviews online, but, generally, I thought it was a fun time. I thought it was a decent war movie. I didn't have too much problem with the characters. I thought they all did an okay job. I didn't really care about them when they died, but...
Well, that's kind of a
that's
problem.
The point of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a throwaway movie as well.
Well, you can't just dismiss the movie's significance as justification for liking it or not.
You know what else is a throwaway movie? Fucking Schindler's List. But I gave a shit about fucking Schindler.
Yeah, it's not the best Star Wars movie, but I don't know. Not every movie has to be amazing just because it's a Star Wars movie.
Let's make it clear that you're allowed to like it. I hope that didn't come off that way. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, absolutely. And it was like as much shit as I give it, I had an okay time watching.
I got my money's worth out of the ticket.
And I agree with you, Millpool. Oh, go ahead, Guido.
It's just the flaws. The longer I was away from the theater, the more it just stewed on my brain.
I could just see you taking a shit and getting angrier and angrier.
Yes.
I walked out of the theater like, oh, all right, okay. But then, as just time progressed, I was like, but wait, there was that one point, and like, why do I give a shit? And who cares about any of this?
Right. I think I agree with you, Millpool. Absolutely. As a film, it was fine. It was average, and that's okay. Not every film can be, Citizen Kane or whatever. I think the problem I have is they have all the means of making a really good movie. And I think more as a fan, I feel frustrated that I feel like I'm being, I don't know, milked a little bit. Just because I'm a fan of this series. And I feel like there's a point where, anyone who's feeling that way, they're eventually not going to care. It could be whatever Star Wars, talking about whatever, and people may just not go anymore. I just feel like they have everything they need to make it a solid film, even if it's just going to be standalone. And they just didn't do it because they wanted to throw in Darth Vader and some really awkward scenes and wanted to show all this nostalgia stuff to get us hyped for this movie. And I don't need that.
At the end of the day, though, I mean, in fairness, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing the stupid chintzy shit because I was there to see Star Wars.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, on a more holistic level, I'm a little disappointed. But if again, though, I paid so much cash to go in and see a Star Wars movie with a relatively straightforward story, and that's exactly what I got.
Right.
Yeah.
Relatively straightforward.
Yeah.
I feel like there was some parts of that movie that we definitely could have done without.
Well, I mean, it was unnecessary, but it was pretty much A to B. Killed my parents, fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, anything involving Forrest Whitaker could have been cut from the movie.
Yes.
That was so disappointing.
Exactly.
Man, we get Forrest Whitaker back in a sci-fi movie. I don't know if he's been in a sci-fi movie since Battlefield Earth.
He arguably got the cleanest kill out of the film, though.
Yeah.
Well, him and Jin and
Jin,
Cassian or whatever his name is.
Just a little bit of a spot there on the planet.
There's the one part I physically rolled my eyes at was when they kissed.
Oh my
God.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? There was no romance there.
No,
guys, we need a romance in this movie. We need to have some romance in this movie.
They were about to die, and they knew they were going to die. I don't know. They just wanted.
That's a fair point.
I could see the hug. Like
no. If you're about to die, you fuck or kiss. I think that's fair.
Also, how did they get to that fucking beach?
It was right there.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, they jumped and paraglided down.
Duh.
Yeah, they couldn't have found a ship or anything. I mean, they were at like a station. There were ships everywhere.
The fucking satellite was 40 miles in the background.
You're absolutely right. Oh my god.
It just took a fucking Sunday drive after they'd uploaded that shit. Popped the radio on.
They hailed the cab ferry.
Yeah. She pulled up her Uber app. A fucking A-Wing came and picked him up. Dropped him off at the beach.
A-Wing, speedy exit.
Yeah, it's just like little things like that draw me out of movies.
Yeah.
No,
it is the small things. It definitely is the small things.
What's the most immersive movie you've ever seen, in your opinion?
Immersive?
Where you did not get drawn out. You were like, from the ending all the way to the start, and you're just like, I was in this.
Probably the first Spider-Man. because I was like the perfect age, and Spider-Man, I like read comics all my life, and Spider-Man was coming to the screen. Yeah.
Cool.
I was like 17 when that came out. Yeah, Spider-Man was one of my better.
It's 15 years ago. Holy shit.
Yeah, movie-going experiences.
That was a good movie. I gotta go Matrix.
Ooh, I was
Matrix,
yeah,
good.
Matrix would be a good one for me, yeah.
Oh, and Fight Club, too.
Fight Club for
Fight
me
Club was very
definitely
good.
was. Ooh, actually, the very first you said, or just one? Because I think Inception's up there for me as well.
Oh, sure.
Because it's one of those movies that, like, the more that you watch, the crazier that it got.
Ah, man. I watched that recently, and...
You like it?
Yeah. Well, I had seen it in theaters originally, but I wanted to watch it again because I'm like, I don't know if I fully understood the first movie, all the concepts, but watching it a second time, I don't know if I'm just stupid or if there's a lot of plot holes in that movie, because I couldn't have been drawn out of that movie more.
Really?
I think. Yeah, it just, anytime there's any kind of, when they're going, into dreams and in deeper levels of dreams and kicking out of dreams, and it just seems like there's so many plot holes, I guess, in that movie.
I can agree. At a point, especially around the end, I kind of started feeling a little tired, like trying to keep up with where everyone is at each point. Kind of a little bit of a disconnect. So I can agree with you there.
Yeah, fucking Rogue One, bro.
Fucking Rogue One.
I'm just so... I don't know if I'm necessarily disappointed in the movie as much as I'm disappointed in Disney. And I'm really, really,
I thought you were going to say all of us.
What? Oh my god, no. You guys are great. No, I'm holding on the hope that episode 8, they kind of branch out a little bit. Because if there's one series with, they said it about Force Awakens, they had to kind of do a quasi soft reboot, and especially around the last part of Force Awakens being a whole lot like A New Hope, that they had to ease people back into the series. Where did it go? I mean, that's one thing that kind of irked me was, if there's one series I could think of that everyone has, I'm sure has seen, little kids, people our age, they've seen Star Wars. It hasn't gone anywhere. So to see then Rogue One have to really push in all this nostalgia, reminding you, oh, remember Darth Vader? Oh, remember C-3PO and R2-D2? I'm just like, we don't need to keep doing this. I feel like it's almost more lazy than it's trying to be creative. And let's see something different, guys.
I felt without that stuff, I would have hated the movie more.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Because that, Darth Vader kicking ass at the end was like the closer. It was like, oh, this is what I sat through this shit for.
Right. Yeah, and the little C-3PO snippet in there was kind of nice to tie the two robots together a little bit as well.
And the bar flies that Obi-Wan cuts their arm off, or one of their arms.
Right.
It was just, I don't know. I felt okay. I was like, cool. But without that stuff, it would have just been me sitting there just watching this mediocre movie.
Right.
Getting upset about that. I just wasted 2+ hours. That's the other thing. It was a long movie. It was not a short movie.
The beginning drug on for way too long.
Yeah. Way too long.
Well, how do you want to do this, Biggie? Do you want to give it a rating? How did we do this?
I
With
guess
Doctor Strange.
Well, right now, Doctor Strange is the best movie that's ever been made, according to Just Okay Gamers. It's the top. So I guess we got to vote.
Best and worst.
Best. That's right. We got to vote. Does Rogue One go to the number 1 spot, or does it fall to the number 2 spot under?
Before anyone said, I think I liked it more than Doctor Strange, because I think all of you are going to say you liked it less, but I think I liked it more.
I was thinking about that today, and I kind of had a hard time picking where I would put it. I mean, I guess there's 5 of us, so we could easily vote if we want to do it that way.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it that way.
Okay. Guido, you want to start?
I had a lot more fun watching Doctor Strange than Rogue One. So I'm voting for Doctor Strange.
The same. I concur with that assessment.
Nasty has not seen Doctor Strange yet.
So can I pick another movie?
No, we're
Any
voting
other
on
movie besides
That's not how it works.
Rogue One?
Nasty.
Doctor Strange, and I haven't even seen it because it has to be better than this one.
Well, shit. Well, how about this, Biggie? You pick, and then if it comes to a tiebreaker, maybe we can get Nasty to watch Doctor Strange before the next podcast, and he can break it before we vote on next time.
I'm gonna have to say I had more fun watching Doctor Strange.
No, okay, we don't even need a tiebreaker.
No need.
Even though it had its problems, absolutely, but I felt like it was way more character development. Even though each character wasn't necessarily completely out there, it tried more in developing these characters and telling a decent story that Rogue One it should have put in more effort than it did, and that's the most disappointing part, because the story's interesting. Find out about the Death Star, it may not be something we need to know, but it's still, someone told me I'm going to tell a story about this, so okay, I'd hear it, but the characters just really sank the film hard, and that's just more than anything, it's disappointing.
Mads Mikkelsen in both films too.
Oh my God, you're right.
I feel like he's the new hot actor, kind of, right now. Am I wrong about that?
Attractive?
Well, yeah, he is attractive. I'm just hearing his name a lot. Lately. Maybe because he's been
in 2 blockbusters this year.
Yeah.
I want to see the movie of him and the bad guy falling out. That would have been way more interesting. Because that was about the only time I really felt like we had 2 characters with some depth.
Right.
Like, I want to see that story.
Well, maybe they'll do that for you.
Hopefully.
They'll go back and fill in the gaps of this movie. They'll just keep getting deeper and deeper until we're watching Inception, and Millpool will hate it.
I mean, they're going to keep doing this, right? Like, next year's
they're going to keep doing it.
Star Wars 8, and then the year after that is going to be another
Han Solo.
A Star Wars story.
The Han Solo movie.
God, that's going to be... They're walking on some really holy ground with that.
Right.
Good luck to them.
Yes.
Especially if they do it in this way. Like, this is their first story offshoot, so I'm kind of worried now.
I agree. After Force Awakens, I was a little bit worried, but optimistic about the films going forward. This one has me a little more concerned.
Yeah.
Because I felt like this was the movie to have more freedom and not feel like you are just so tied down to this plot. And but had a bunch of reshoots. Apparently the executives didn't like it. I read some articles saying they had enough footage to completely change or alter the story. So whatever that means.
Yeah, they don't get the plans.
That would be what'd you guys think of how they got the plans and everything going at the end? Did you like how that part wrapped up, or
I mean, how are the plans stored? They were like in this physical database that was like a big tower. Like, that didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it was like a library, like a computer library thing, and it was. It was. I kind of liked the whole scene where they're trapped in the room, robot dies, and
it made for a good fight scene for sure.
It did.
Escape scene. There wasn't really much fighting.
Well, the guy was fighting with the bad guy.
No, he just gets shot. They're like climbing that tower. He just gets shot.
Right.
Oh, there's one scene. I want to see if you guys caught it or not. When they land on the base to get the plans, and they're like discussing, okay, what we're going to do next and all this stuff, and Jen begins to walk away, and she bumps into the intel guy, and they stand there awkwardly for a couple seconds but the camera just stays at a wide angle, and then she just starts walking again. Like, me and my wife started busting out laughing because it felt like what they were wanting to do was, it was kind of one of those scenes where, you have the two people, they're kind of liking each other a little bit, and they bump into each other. Then there's a close-up to one person's face, then close-up to the other's face where they're locking eyes for a second, and then they just walk away, knowing they got to go get the job done. It felt like they were doing that. And they just bumped into each other and just sat there and then just started walking away.
Suddenly becomes a rom-com.
It was weird. It just little scenes like that. I don't know what to explain. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But
there was a lot of weird stuff, for sure, that happened.
A lot of harsh cuts at the beginning. Like, really harsh cuts.
Harsh cuts onto characters that you have no idea who they are.
Exactly. It just sets a bad taste. Like, with my wife has seen really a lot of Star Wars, I started thinking, like, I'll never be able to get her to see a Star Wars film again. I know this universe, and I'm having a hard time keeping up.
Right.
And, it wraps up well around the end. Definitely tell they spent the most time at the ending part, and it was nice and well done. But
that was the other frustrating thing. Like, the dude sees Darth Vader coming, yet it takes all the way until he gets to the fucking door to hand off that little disc that he put the plans on. And the other dude is standing there trying to open the door as the guy is saying, "Take this, just take this," like multiple times in a row. And he's still trying to open the door. And it was just like, oh my God.
It was very exaggerated.
If Vader would have had a little hustle, he would have, there wouldn't be any more Star Wars.
Yeah, right?
He had the Force. Like, he was whipping every other guy around. But, it was, for what it was nicely shot. And was kind of tense. All right, so what did you guys think of Carrie Fisher at the very end, or the digital representation of her? Oh, and R.I.P. Carrie Fisher.
Rip.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was taken from us R2D2 soon.
Oh, very nice.
Too soon, man.
R2D2 soon.
What was her scene in the movie? Is she gives the speech?
Conclusion.
Yeah,
I don't.
She says, like, what? There's hope or something.
There's hope,
like
which
that.
I thought was a beautiful.
Okay. What did they give us? They gave us hope.
I liked it because of 4 and the name and
A New Hope.
I liked it. I liked it.
I didn't think it was like visually that great. Like, you could totally, it kind of threw me out because you could totally tell it was this.
What about Tarkin?
Yeah, Tarkin too. Like, it was hard to like.
Was there some Uncanny Valley shit going on for you?
Yeah, it's just hard to step away and like enjoy it for what it is. Instead, I'm looking at it like, oh, that's CG. What points do I notice most about it that are CG?
Sure.
Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I noticed people were really, really talking about how much they were able to notice. Personally, I don't know. I guess I was kind of excited to see him there, and like that being a point where it's like, okay, this is fun seeing Grand Moff Tarkin doing something, because in the original films he was just kind of just like Darth Vader. He was just a guy doing a thing, and then it was just the lore afterwards kind of made them much larger than they really were in the story. And I guess in that way it was kind of neat to see him kind of being a dick to the bad guy. That was fun. But the CG was in certain lightings he was in, it was like, maybe he could have made it a little darker in that room.
Yeah, more black people.
Yeah, more. There was a lot of black people, were there? Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah. Man, I was really hoping he'd do something. I'm really
besides
disappointed.
just die.
Yeah, instead of just in the wimpiest way, like, oh, I can't run 30 more feet.
Yeah.
Let me remove my breathing tube from my chest.
Yeah, he's like, I'm done running. This is a great time to run.
Yeah,
let's wait till the next scene.
Yeah.
There's some more action in that scene. Don't run in that one.
You can never run again once you escape this laser that's coming to kill us. Just come on.
Oh my god! And the setup with the I expected something to happen with the crystal. They really focused on that part where the mom gives her that crystal, and then the monk guy's like, "That's the Kryton crystal, the one they put in the lightsabers."
Yeah.
They really put kind of a focus on that. Not super heavy, but kind of made you think, oh, there's something going to happen. But, it's never mentioned again. I guess that's okay.
Well, Rogue One. Spoiler alert.
It sucks.
I mean, go see it. If you've seen the trailers and Star Wars, you know exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. There's no spoilers.
If you've seen the opening crawl of Episode 4, you know the whole movie. So congrats. You don't have to see this one.
Right. Just here's hoping for Episode 8. Hoping they stretch their legs a little bit.
According to the Death Star plans provided to us by Princess Leia.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for the future.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a little bump in the road they had to get through.
Is it still JJ?
JJ
no,
directing?
Oh,
it's director of Looper. I forget what his name is.
Oh, it's a different director.
Different director.
Yeah.
I think Abrams is still one of the executive producers. But yeah, different director.
Yeah.
And different director for Episode 9. But I think it's already began filming. Or pre-production. So
cool.
Is Episode 8 done?
Pretty much. They're
filming.
in post-production.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, some behind-the-scenes pictures came out showing Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill together on set. That's kind of a memorial thing. I haven't seen them, but yeah, go see Rogue One. It's
Or don't.
or don't worry. Wait,
We just
till it
gave
goes
you
to-
everything you needed to know.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't bother. Wait till it's on Netflix or something.
Right. Yeah, that's what I would probably do. Or at least budget.
Sure. Well,
They don't have budgets in other states, man.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Oh,
we
is
don't
that
have a budget anymore.
Yeah, we do.
Is that
Still in
theater?
Franklin.
Oh, and the Franklin one. Is it Silver Cinemas though?
No, it's Marcus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Marcus
I thought you were
budget?
just saying just budget your money around seeing this movie.
yeah, that's what I thought too. Which is a good idea too.
No, we used to have a $2 theater, and it was called Budget Cinemas.
Okay.
Oh,
I still got one of those near me. They're nice.
And it shows movies that are out of the main theaters. So right now they'd probably be showing, I don't fucking know what
The Magical Beasts, I think.
yeah, Magical Beasts would probably be there.
I
Doctor
actually
Strange.
I went to a cheap ass theater to see Mad Max. And I felt like it kind of enhanced the experience.
Nice. That was a great
Sure.
movie. I need to watch that again. Holy
Oh.
crap, that was a good movie.
It was so freaking good. Oh, see that's how they make a good action movie. But all right.
Biggie Size, thank you as always. This is fun. I like doing movie
man.
podcasts.
Yeah.
Hell
Thank
yeah,
you.
I had a
Let's
great
try
time.
to pick a movie that everyone likes.
A little bit better. Just a wee
For
bit
next
better.
time.
Absolutely. You guys have any suggestions?
Oh man.
Oh, I don't know. Do we have to pick
Let's
it?
see Silence.
Silence? Okay.
I
thought you were
don't
gonna
know
say-
if that doesn't apply. I'm sure that people aren't rushing to the theaters to see that, especially maybe Nasty so much.
What the hell is it?
So rushing.
It's the new
to get
Martin
there.
Scorsese
To
film.
see
about,
the story of two Christian missionaries who faced the ultimate test of faith when they traveled to Japan in search of their missing mentor at a time when Christianity was outlawed and their presence forbidden.
This looks fucking cool.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a blast.
It got an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I'd be willing to go see that. It's another 2 hour and 40 fucking minute movie.
Yeah, dude. It's
Oh, my
Scorsese.
God.
Of course it's long.
Well, okay, it's settled. Next episode, we're going to talk about
Orson.
Silence.
Oh boy.
God.
That'd be awesome.
That's going to be a
Guido,
downer of
there's
an episode.
There's one fucking theater that's showing that in the Milwaukee area right now.
Oh, it'll have a wider release. I'm sure Oscars are coming out. There's going to be screeners.
Do you think so?
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm really into this because I one of my favorite movies is Black Robe and what's the one with the mission in the South America. during the
Death to
colonial
South
period.
America.
No, I'll have to look it up later.
Dude, I'm gonna like get in character as like a film critic. I'm gonna like wear a suit and like have a glass of wine and be like, yes, the picture was superb.
Fuck, it's called The Mission.
Ah.
I love The Mission. Excellent film.
Is there another Mads Mikkelsen movie that we could see to keep this streak running?
With the creepy.
Yeah.
What else is he in?
Casino Royale. One of the best James Bond films.
It's arguably one
Easily.
of the best. Yeah.
Easily. Well,
now we'll stick to silence, huh?
yeah,
I'll
let's do
watch
it.
the fuck out of that.
All right, we got a month. Nasty, I will see it with you.
Okay, please. Like,
Yeah, I'll drag you to it.
drag me out to it.
Yeah, you want to go watch a movie about some priests?
Yeah.
A period piece, nonetheless. It's good. That's a hard sell for some people, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
probably.
Scorsese, you go for the experience. You know, his style and cinematography and banter and things like that are just. He does a really good job.
Have you ever seen the Mission, Guido?
No, I haven't.
Watch it sometime if you can. Came out in '86. I think you'd really like it.
Okay.
De Niro's in it.
Okay. I'll give it a shot. All right,
Well-
Biggie Size. You're a gem. You're a star. Thank you for doing this. Thanks for helping us out, supporting us.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys, and thank you everyone for listening. Really appreciate it.
Also,
Yeah,
big shout out
absolutely.
to Biggie for setting up that poll that some of you probably
Yeah.
took for the
this
game of the year.
Oh, it's fun. I'll send
And
that over to you. It's
Okay.
it's good.
I also want to give Biggie like a really, really big thank you for giving us a little something for Christmas. You know, you didn't really have to do that, man, but I really appreciate it.
Oh no,
Yeah,
you
also,
guys are
thank you.
great. You guys putting so much work into this. I mean, even at your own expense, and you guys deserve something. I know we're all really appreciative of you guys.
Oh,
Thanks,
Biggie.
dude. You're so nice. You warm my heart.
All right. Well,
All this
thanks,
mushy
guys.
stuff.
Well, thank you guys. Tune in to us for next month. We'll talk about silence, have fun, and talk about good old Scorsese film. So.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.